And we are live. Welcome to Gator's Garage,
Hey
home of
everyone.
all things historical gaming in Savannah, Georgia. We have a special guest with us today, Mr. John Russell, the North
Hi
American
everyone.
rep for Warlord Games. Mr. John, say hello to the folks.
Well, hello. Sorry I jumped in there early, but hello everyone out there in the gaming land. Glad to be on with you, Mike, and it's going to be a fun time, a little chat, catch up on everything in the Warlord universe.
That's what I know, and we really appreciate it. As folks may not know, Warlord was the uh, the the first big product line that Gator came. I almost and actually you and another fella kind of recruited me to be a distributor, and so you always have a special place in my heart. And Warlord's always special to the Gators because the value they bring, which is huge, and the fact that they gave a little guy like me a chance to be part of the hobby business. So
Well, thanks,
I'm going
Mike.
to
I
let
appreciate
you.
that.
Absolutely. So let's start off with the biggest news coming down the pipe, and that's the Hail Caesar that just dropped.
Hannibal.
What can you Yeah, Hannibal. So what can you tell about how it's been received and what you see coming in the future?
Hannibal was our largest epic selling line. It outsold the Napoleonics way farther than we expected. We've already started almost running out of things, having to make even more. It's exciting. It was well received at Historicon. People really liked it. A lot of people really are enjoyed and awed by the new way we have the Romans snapping together in that three-way. So you only have to paint 10 guys in the front, 10 guys in the back, 30 heads and two sides, and you're done with 30 guys. It was kind of neat how that all clamshells together. And then we've got the Carthaginians and their allies, and there's I don't want to say Celts, or you probably Celts, Gauls. They'll be next, and what's great about them is that that'll be the next release, probably around Christmas. And
Excellent.
you've already seen some of the sprues on War Games Illustrated, and I think we had some at Historicon, we had some at at Historical, we had some, and you can get it if you can find that War Games Illustrated, you might find one. There's are pretty hard to find right now, and they can go. You know, you can make them Germans, you can make them British, you can do as an allies, you can do as an army itself. They're really a Swiss army, if you could say, of the Hail Caesar. You can use them in multiple ways. And like we were talking about earlier, the division boxes, the army boxes, the way you can mix and match, it's really kind of cool. They'll be cavalry. I've seen pictures of cavalry, actual, infantry, skirmishers with bows or spears. I think there's some slingers, and of course, there's a bunch of skyclad guys. So there you go. So you're gonna have a lot of flesh exposed on those guys. And I really like
There's all the jokes.
all the jokes is coming, but everything is shielded, quote unquote. But what's really cool too about the Hail Caesar, this is our fourth line. We started out with ACW, and then we did
Right.
ECW, and then we did we did Napoleonics, then we did ECW. And as we've gotten the processes under our belt, there's been more and more detail put on these sprues, but we've done it in a way that it looks really good, but there's not as much to paint. For example, the Hail Caesar line, you're going to be really hard to find a scabbard because they're all behind shields. So,
Excellent.
and there's decal sheets or decals, as some people call them, sheets
Right.
in the boxes for your shield work. So you don't have to do those scriggly little paints or the boars or the eagles and stuff. You can just use the decal. So we've put more detail in it, but everyone's got to remember it's a 3-foot game. Nobody plays like up in your eyeballs. You play 3 feet away. So don't paint
Exactly.
boots. That's one of the big things because they'll be lost in the flock. But we've got more detail but less to paint. If that makes any sense.
That's awesome.
And there's more epic
Yeah.
to come. There's discussion of what it could be and what it will be is still up in the air. It could be, who knows? Maybe another line in black powder, maybe a totally new line. It's we're really starting to get the process under our belt, and we're really starting to like it. And it's a real good introduction and a big bang for your bucks. Like we were talking about earlier, some people kind of are sticker shocked by that $384 price tag on that Hannibal box, but there's over 3,000 figures in that box. There's 2 games in there, really. There's a Scipio board game, quote unquote, that you use half the stuff to kind of get you going. But if you bought that in metal, Mike, that'd be over $2,000. So
Right.
So there you go.
which is why I've never gotten into the smaller scales. Every time I ran the numbers, well, 10 mil, and these are 10 or 12 mil.
These are
Wells,
15s.
still 12.
No, they're 15. We did start out. You're right. We did start out with they were 13.5 with their ACW, and then the Napoleonics are about 13.5. But then the ECW and these guys are 15s or real close to 15s.
They are 15s.
Yeah, and
that's good to know.
Yeah, at Historicon, we took out the Will Greenslade, my raider from Ohio, took out the little measuring stick, and he measured it from foot to tail, and it was about 15. So, and again, the whole reason why we started this, especially goes back, ACW, we put one regiment on one sprue. So in one box, you could have a brigade, 3 sprues. It just the numbers, it makes it easy. So it's just it works. Okay. So we've kind of carried that on. So now we got the divisions, which you were talking about. You've got 3 sprues in there. So you can make divisions and you can mix and match. So it's really a kind of a nice way to put the puzzle together to play this epic stuff. And we call it epic because it wasn't quite 13.5. It wasn't quite 15. So we just called it epic. And it's not like we're trying to be like some other company with the same initials. It's just that it was the best bang for our buck that we could get on the machine and the materials at the time. And it's worked. Everybody's really liked it. Right. And people were really excited at Historicon when they got a chance to see, the elephants and the poor parish pachyderm, the little poor parish pachyderm, the guy that sold, the dead elephant. So it's really, and when I've seen it at conventions, I've seen big tables of it all painted up, 600 stands, 700 stands. It just looks right, Mike. You get all the nice terrain, and there's nothing better than having a game with some nice miniatures and some nice terrain and some good friends and some cool beverages. So it's just
I get to experience that at least once a week with my gaming group. I'm a blessed man. We played Black Seas last Saturday.
Ooh, I love that game.
Clubhouse. Yeah, and matter of fact, I had a couple questions for you on that, and you answered them.
Yes,
Thank you much.
Anytime, I'm here for you.
Get a chance. My buddy said he posted to the Facebook group and didn't get an answer. So I don't know if you frequent that group, but you might look for that.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, usually Gabriel's all over that. Yeah, Gabriel's always all over. That's his game. Yeah. But tag me and I'll take care of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I told Jim. I said, that's unusual. I said, I'm sure someone will get to it. But and then we're going to play again this coming Saturday. We're either going to do Black Seas. And what I do is I've got access to my HOA's clubhouse, and I can host about 6 other people besides me.
Nice.
So I can get a nice little group out there.
Cool.
And it also gives an opportunity as people are going to the pool or whatever for my neighbors that live in the HOA, which is a good target market for us to see the hobby in play and get exposed to it. So that's kind of cool. But we've had Epic on the table. We've had, of course, we've done the ACW for quite a bit. Like I was telling you, we did Hail Caesar with my 172nd, and I was just completely enamored of how smoothly it ran. And I've played a little bit of, I played DBA over the years. I've played a lot of the Command and Colors games, which they're not straight minis, but the Hail Caesar worked, and it works. And I've always thought that this whole game is definitely more structured toward using 15s than 28s. I know everybody likes their 28s; they're beautiful, but for getting a lot of figures on the table and truly putting a big battle on the table, Epic, 13, 50 millimeters, the way to go.
Can't be beat.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. Very good. So Hail Caesar, it is in my store, and it's on the it's also on the Gator Games website. The Hannibal set is available as a pre-order, as a special order, and we're bringing in the other items to order to have in stock for you to take immediately. And I can usually turn things around pretty quick, even on a direct order. We're absolutely excited. I'll be hopefully getting my demo kit put together in the next week or two, so I can actually play a game and get some pictures up on our website and on my blog.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot in that demo kit. 4 sprues of each side.
I saw that. Yeah. It's like, wow.
Yeah, and you've got the little PDF for the demo game, right?
No.
Okay. We put out a demo. We put out the demo kit you can get. It's like 4 sprues a side and some elephants and stuff. But there's also a sheet, and just remind me, and I'll send it to you. And anybody else who needs it, it's a 1-page PDF, and it's got all the armies, of the Carthaginians and all the armies of the Romans on both sides, and all the little and all their little skills and all the. It's a cheat sheet, and in the center, it's got all the references. So if they're fearless, it says go to this page. If it does this, it goes to this page. So everything you need to know is all on one sheet to play Hail Caesar.
Wow, John. Yeah, if you'd shoot that over to me, that would be huge.
You betcha. It's really nice.
Great. That's fantastic. So again, I've been jazzed about it. I've gotten nobody here has really kind of bit the bullet yet, but we're still growing out our historical community too.
Just takes one.
Matter of fact,
takes one.
What?
It just takes one.
That's right.
One guy to start playing it, and everybody else
need a
play.
champion. Yeah, and that's the cool thing about being part of a community is one or two guys buys the toys, everybody gets to play. I mean, and that's fine. And then
my good buddy Tony Rigger, one of my raiders up in Maine, says people come for the game, but they stay for the community, and that's what these games are all about. They're fun games. They're easy games. Every single Warlord game is built around the idea that somewhere in that first or second paragraph, it'll say in some form or fashion, "Hey, thanks for buying a game. Do whatever you want," and they're designed to be done in 2 to 4 hours. You're not going to be playing Napoleonics 8 hours and 3 turns. You're going to be done. And we've played a game of Black Powder at John Stollart's house in 45 minutes. It was amazing.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's just quick and fast, and if you know what you're doing, boom, bang, boom, done.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so that's Hail Caesar. That's the new thing that just dropped. Now, of course, the next big thing that everybody's talking about is
is it Roman? Oh no! Oh wait, is it airplanes? Is it what could it be? Oh, Space Jam. What could it be? Oh wait. Oh, you must be talking about Bolt Action.
yeah, maybe just a bit.
yeah. Haven't changed in 8 years. It's been out for 12, so maybe it's time for a little tune-up.
Say that again, because that is really
it's been out for 12 years. We've changed it once 8 years ago in one army book.
Excellent. That is, and again, folks, it's one of the things I really, really honestly love about Warlord. We don't try to make our money off constant rule changes.
Yep.
And yet, one of the things.
Go ahead. Keep going. Keep going. No, keep
it's
going.
One of the things I like to use as a recruiting point, bringing people, into this genre from other genres, is to say it's historical, so it's got a hard baseline by and large, and it's not a company that's looking to gin rule books. Now we got the whole campaign book series, and those are always good values,
and they won't change. None of those are being changed.
Right. Because the campaign, especially the written scenarios in the campaign books, you can still plug into, and they'll still be balanced.
Yep.
So that's really excellent. And of course, I've got a lot of those in stock, and I'm looking forward to folks maybe taking a second look at those with the new products dropping, especially with potentially larger armies in version 3. But again, don't be shy to dial it back to the individual man, even if you want to do man on man. So tell us a bit more about. Yeah. So Gator Games has highlighted the first, I guess, 3 news bulletins that have come out from Warlord. A new one just dropped. Be watching for the next video from Randy and I on that as we talk about version 3 changes, and then he's probably going to have another 1 or 2 version 2 army lists that he's going to want to review. So John, tell us some more about version 3, man.
Okay, let's start off with this statement. Bolt Action is our #1 game at Warlords. So it would be crazy for us to radically change this game. Let me say that again. Bolt Action is our bread and butter. A huge amount of our sales are from this game. So we would be crazy to radically change this game. There'll be some tweaks. There'll be some tune-ups, as we've seen in the last 3 or 4, like you said, updates. We've talked about shooting and the cover save, which was kind of a rumble in the a feel of troubling in the force kind of thing. Today's was vehicles. Everybody was really receptive of the vehicle ideas and stuff released today. That was really good. The whole crew back at HQ. I mean, again, like I said, this is our bread and butter. We've been working on this thing for years, fine-tuning it. Alessio is always one to cut away instead of add. Mostly he likes to thin it down, try to get less and less. And And you can see some of that in the shooting phase, where we went from 10 modifiers to 3 or 4, and
Yep.
it's a quick, it's a little quicker, a little faster. It's We talked, we changed the snipers, nerfed them a little bit. We took care of the medium machine guns, give them a little more power. It's
Oh,
uh,
on the
yeah.
medium machine guns on our first video, I said we're making medium machine guns great again.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And they're throwing that all over. We're only changing the army books, and we're going to release one of those a quarter. So you might have to wait for your specific army, but we will have PDFs to get you by until that happens. And we've talked about releasing with that army book a new plastic kit. And in fact, pretty soon, I don't know if you've seen the trade sheet or the trade, but we started talking about some of the not new, but we're going to re-release some of our tanks and our armored fighting vehicles in a new format that will have the data card for Bolt Action 3 and an Achtung Panzer card in the box, plus a Bolt Action dice. So
I saw that. That is
yeah,
fantastic.
right. So now, even if you don't play Achtung, you're going to have that data card. Or if you don't play Bolt Action, you're going to have the card. So, and there's a way to get into some ideas and start seeing some of the tweaks. We've made it. It's got a more infantry feel. You can have more things on there. It's kind of, it branches off how we kind of built. One commander and 2 support. Now you got that, but as long as you have those, you can do a bunch of other things. And that was one of the biggest things when we started talking about army building, that first release. That really kind of set the pattern for the rest of the releases. Is everybody gonna like it? No, Mike. You can't please everybody, and
Nope.
we're gonna lose some people. But I know the core people who love Bolt Action, and I know people are thinking about trying it. They're gonna love this game even more. They're gonna fall into it. I'm excited about. I can finally start talking about the new Battle of the Bulge release with the
Yes.
Fallschirmjägers in winter clothing
Yes.
and the Americans in winter clothing. I'm excited because I can use those same wintered guys in plastic for my Korea Bolt Action Korea stuff. But so now you get 2 uses out of that. So I'm excited about that. Yep. So
Yeah.
And the new kit is going to be pretty well balanced, like our last Gentleman's War. There is an armored car in there, a Greyhound, and it's going to be exciting. And that's just the beginning. We're going to release platoons. 3, but basically it's 3 box sets. You get those, the Americans and the Germans. There's new poses. There's some new hints at some new rules for vehicles like slow and fast. So now the Hellcat might be speeding all over. Your Jeeps, even though they are fast, are going to be very vulnerable, as you saw today. Anything that's soft skin. I like the idea of splitting now a superficial damage table itself and a penetration table, which you guys will see and talk about later in one of your videos. That was released today. So I'm very excited, and it's the pictures of the models coming out and the ideas of some of the tanks. And now that we're releasing our vehicles with both data cards, it's just it just keeps getting better and better. It's a self-licking ice cream cone. It just gets better and better and better and better. And it's just
self-licking ice cream cone.
So
Love it.
It's just fantastic. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be over there in September at headquarters for the opening day in the UK. I always like going over when I can. And so that'll be the premiere. We'll be releasing it there. Then the week later, it comes out to the rest of the world. So everybody back at the headquarters has done a fantastic job. Marketing is doing a great job of leaking it out just a little bit, a trickle.
Absolutely.
I'm excited. I'm very excited. And what's great is all your miniatures will be just fine. You're not going to have to buy a whole new army. You might add to it, if anything. You're going to start looking at, example, today they talked about, the big, bad, nasty on the whole board of King Tiger 2 being 666 points. That wasn't intentional. That's the way the numbers came out when it came out. But they're dropping that down to 138 points to like 5 something. So vehicles will be cheaper. Some, some might go up a little, but it's lighter, leaner, lethal. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. And I'm like everybody else. I play Bolt Action because it's easy to get into, it's easy to play, easy to teach. And and it's scalable. You can play
Yeah.
anything from a 300-point game up to a 1,200-point, depending on
Yeah.
your time, taste, and table.
Yeah.
And I feel like, even before I became a distributor for Warlord, I was a fan. And I
Yeah.
was a fan because the Warlord rules and minis are, very much a good value for the money.
Well, and
And in these
I
times, especially, that's really important.
oh yeah, and I don't know about you, but Mike, but when I play, I call it when I play. There's a cinematic effect on bolt
Yep.
action. You swear to God, you're in a movie or you've seen this somewhere in a movie, and it's just.
Right.
And how many games have you played comes down to the last turn and the last die roll? How many games do that? Can you say? And it's just, and everybody has fun. I can
Yes.
count on one hand and have multiple fingers left over of times I've had to step in and like separate players or cock somebody down and everybody's always like helpful. Oh, you forgot to move that guy there. Or how about this? Oh, I never thought of that. Thanks. It's even in tournament play. There's not a lot of
Yes.
cutthroat, and it's just
No.
the community is fantastic. The community has contributed very much into this game. The community it's Warlord's been around for 17 years, which boggles my mind, and Bolt Action's been a part of it for 12, and
Yep.
we have some games that cross dimensions and age dimensions, and people love it. I mean, we've got 10-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 80-year-olds. Everybody plays it. Everybody loves it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely right. I'm totally jazzed. So that's going to be really good.
Mhm.
Also, speaking of, being excited about version 3, just a reminder that our local club, the Savannah Garrison, will be hosting our last version 2 tournament
Mhm.
on August
August
24th. August
24th. Yep.
24th.
Yep.
Yeah.
Be there. Be square.
And that's right. I will post a link to the Facebook group in the description. And we've only got 12 slots. And to be honest, we do fill up. We filled up our last tournament was full.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, I had to kind of shoehorn some people in. It was actually a team tournament, and we ended up having to actually add a table. So, but yeah, we're a hard limit at 12 people. Uh, if you look at the comments, we always put on good tables. We get a lot of compliments for how nice our tables look. Our players are always very sportsmanlike. People are they're willing to talk through things if there's a confusion on the rules. I'm pretty well versed, and usually there's at least a couple of other guys there that are well versed. But the big thing is you're going to get 3 games in. Going to be a lot of prize support. Warlord stepping up to support us. War Games Atlantic is stepping up to support us. So, and of course, the Gator Games will be doing some support of its own. So,
Excellent.
everybody's pretty much going to get something out of this, and we are excited about it being, sending off version 2, which has been the old faithful, the tried and true, with a big bang. As a matter of fact, we are allowing just any army list. So your theater selectors are open, your basic lists are open. It's let's do this thing and let's have a lot of fun. So that's
Brilliant.
and then we'll be doing a escalation league in September, which is going to be kind of different. Instead of doing it just based on points, it's going to be based on unit type. Similar to if you've ever played Squad Leader, they do this way. Our first week is going to be. Oh, he's going to grab it. That's right. Yeah. But so the first week will be infantry. The next week will be artillery. The next week after that will be armor. And then we'll start mixing and matching it in, and so that people can learn these things in depth and not just have to dive in cold shower with all the new rules.
You
And
you
it's my preferred way to both learn and to play.
you got the
And
right
I
idea.
think folks, yeah, I think folks are going to enjoy that. So, and I'm working on getting some type of prize support for that too, for people that show up, especially for new folks.
Sure.
And
Well,
we'll
you
be putting a big push.
always give them that
What
sprue. First sprue is free, right? First
the
taste.
first sprue is often free. That's right. That's right.
And that reminded me,
We'll
you put on the note too. Here's a note for you too. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Academy of Street Fighting. We put that out a while ago.
You
Uh,
did,
yeah,
and I was supposed to get something about that from you, and I think I just never
yeah,
circled the wagon.
yeah. Academy of Street Fighting was something we put out around Stalingrad release. It's a squad on squad action. Each guy gets a bolt action dice, and it's kind of there's a little bit of an RPG element in there. You guys there's a skill tree. We released something else called, and it was just quick in a flash in the pan, and it was gone. So some people know about it, some people don't. It's called the Libyan Taxi Service, and the Libyan Taxi Service expands upon the street fighting, Academy street fighting, and it is a man-on-man, squad-on-squad bolt action game. And again, skill trees and up close and like knife fighting in the closet kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun, and it's a way it's another way to build up that community, build up your army, build a squad, build a squad, build a squad. Crap, I got an army.
I will send you a email as soon as we finish this with this one,
Sure,
John, to make
sure.
sure we don't forget.
Yeah,
And if you'll
yeah,
send me
no
those
worries.
2 documents,
Yeah,
that's
they're
right.
fun.
If you'll
Libyan
send me
is
those
fun.
2 documents, I'll put them in the Savannah Garrison,
Sure.
and even I can even email them from Gator Games and Books.
Sure.
I don't think that would violate any copyright or
Nope,
anything.
nope. And then next to that, put powder keg. Okay, and powder keg is another
Okay.
set of rules that we kind of kicked around that we haven't released, but it's a same thing, an idea for black powder. Okay, so you can get into black powder by a squad on squad kind of thing, man on man kind of action. It's a campaign kind of thing. It's interesting. Some guys were kicking it around. We're still kicking it around, but I think you might like it. And if you like black powder and you want to get into black powder cheap, there it is.
Yeah. So on the black powder, why not? We'll pop the lid off that a little bit. So I'll definitely ask you about that.
Sure.
Personally, I like 28 for man on man.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Yes.
better than for squad on squad.
Agreed.
And one of the areas I found where black powder shines is at that tactical level. I do a lot with the French and Indian War.
Oh God, love that.
And we're right, and quite often in the scenarios, everybody's skirmishers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there's a lot of fire going on, but everybody's also hard to hit.
Yep.
And
Yep. And
I know
that was one of our best rules. Sorry to interrupt. That was some of our best rules. Dark and Bloody Ground was one of our best rule books we've ever written. It was beautiful.
Yes. Matter of fact, I've gotten some feedback on the American Revolution. My buddy was like, "Where's the troop types?" They're kind of buried in the scenarios, but in Dark and Bloody Ground, you've got a complete supplement there, just like we did with not Dark and Bloody Ground, but Dark and Bloody Ground, just like you did with Glory Hallelujah.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
got great selections. But so for skirmish, French and Indian War works really good. Just marrying that up with the black powder rulebook as is. But I'd love to take a look at that powder keg and kick it around with my group. We love us some skirmish black powder. We've been doing a little bit with Firelock Games, Blood and Plunder.
Blood and Plunder, yep.
So we do love us some skirmish black powder. So John, that'll be really good.
If you like skirmish, then of course you got to go over to our rebellion side with Judge Dredd, Strontium Dog, ABC Warriors, Slain. That is a crazy. Yeah, I know, Joe. I'm talking about you, but it is fantastic. The Judge Dredd universe and doing it with Rebellion, and then ABC Warriors, Strontium Dog, all that. Andy Chambers, Gav Thorpe, Roger Garrish did a great job of writing that up. Quick, fast, and simple. It uses we call it the always your turn. That's, you put your chits in the bag and pull them out like Bolt Action does.
Right.
But one of them, like for Dredd, he'll have a star on his. So when he gets done doing his 2 actions, you can throw it back there's a chance to throw it back in the bag. So he can keep doing that forever. So it's a lot of fun skirmish. And of course it's, superhero type, comic book style graphic novel things. And the models are phenomenal. The Slain Slanja miniatures can be used in any fantasy setting, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. And now we've got the ABC Warriors. Who doesn't like robots? So there's your skirmish rule set right there. There
you go. That's absolutely fantastic. I haven't quite dove into that. I might have to take a second look. Usually for skirmish, I like Stargrave. But you can certainly take a look at because I love the whole RPG element.
Yep.
So all right. Hey, and while we're talking forward look, any word on Conflict 47 with Bolt Action being major revision?
Okay, so now let's talk K47. We've released that. Andy Chambers is going to rewrite it. Okay.
Right.
All right. So, and when we say rewrite it, there's going to be some changes, but again, just like Bolt Action, your models will be fine. Models will be fine. Now, it's going to come out after Bolt Action 3. So there's probably a good chance that they'll have a lot of the elements of Bolt Action 3. I personally hope they keep the reaction phase from Gates of Antares in there. I love that. Was a great thing I liked about that, made it so different from Bolt Action.
Yes,
With Andy on board, of course, that means it's going to be probably darker, probably grittier, probably more plastics, probably more plastic walkers, probably some named heroes. There's some circulation. Roger Garish is one of the fluff riders. Had a chance to pin him down at Historicon and get some nuggets out of him. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be fun. You'll probably see the first real hard look at it after Christmas, especially around
sure.
Adepticon. Especially after Adepticon, we'll have a bunch
There
of
you
stuff
go.
there.
Yep.
And look for maybe around Gen Con. Some even more stuff. So K47 is going to get, now that we own the IP, it's ours to do with as we wish. So we've given it to Andy, and he's cooking some really crazy stuff in that corner.
I tell you, as a consumer, if we can get some Conflict 47 in metal, that'll make getting into that a whole lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the most reasonable way I recommend for folks to get into it is to get, of course, the rule book.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, it's got some different elements than Bolt Action, even version 2.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did to play Conflict 47 is I picked up a couple of Scout Walkers,
Yep.
Coyote for the Allies, and the Spin A Walker for the Germans.
Mm-hmm.
A unit of jump troops for the Germans, and a unit of jump troops for the Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, now we're playing Conflict 47.
Yep.
Because here's the cool thing: even though a lot of the Conflict 47 stuff is a little bit higher on the price point because often it's resin metal,
Mm-hmm.
for regular troops, all your Bolt Action guys will roster right in.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have a great time. And again, a little bit different way to play, especially if you add in some of the werewolves and some of the other fantastical elements.
Mm-hmm.
You've got very much that whole dark, gritty type game that a lot
Mm-hmm.
of folks really like.
Yeah, and it's a great introduction to get people who play that kind of, when a 40K player walks by the table and they see K47, they go, "Hey, wait a minute, what's that?" And it's just,
Right.
a simple step to the left, and they're
That's
all
right.
over. They're all over into K47 and Bolt Action. And like you said, you can expand it. If you get a British Army and American Army, bang, you can play Bolt Action. Bang, you can play K47. Bang, you can play Bolt Action Korea. You get 3 games for one army. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And you put in some jump troops, some animated corpses. So, it's a pew pew, roar, and a clank clank, and you're ready to go.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I always tell people about our historical gaming hobby is historical miniatures. You can use them across different rule sets.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to take a break from one set of rules and try another, just
Yep.
pick up your troops and drop them in the new rule set.
Yep.
I mean, I've played World War II, everything from, nuts to
7 coffins for 7
Dirt
brothers.
Side 2.
Dirt Side 2.
What?
7 brothers
7
for
coffins for 7
7
brothers.
coffins. Yep. And
Right.
Dirt
Yeah.
Side, and then it's all over.
Yeah. So that's the really cool thing about having historical miniatures is they are in many ways they're rule agnostic.
Yep.
And of course, those of us that put on events, we're not going to look and see whether or not you have quote unquote approved miniatures. And Warlord is, of course, even going forward, going to say, look, if it was in World War II, then it's in our game. They're not going to do, oh, gee, these units are now no longer available. No, we're not going to see that happen.
And funny you should mention that. And a lot of people will come up to me on that topic about World War II. You can't. It's an IP. You can't claim it because it's just universal and everything. A tank's a tank, and a Sherman is a Sherman. You can't. I own it. You can't do that. A lot of people come up to me in the booth, and they always ask me the question about 3D printing and are we worried about 3D printing taking over our game? And I'm like, no, but we're not like some other companies that, if you have a specific kind of miniature, you can do that. Until the 3D manufacturers that do things out of their home can make it as cheap as we can you get 30 guys for $50. Okay.
Yep.
And they're opposable. You can do it until that becomes a thing. And it won't, because it's just right now it's cost inefficient to try to do 30 guys for the same price that you can get it for your Bolt Action guys. You just can't do it. Now a tank, maybe okay. In that other company with the same initials that we have is worried because they have some models that are specific to their armies, and people are using those. So they are kind of clamped down on that. If it's World War II, it's World War II. You know, some guys, I've seen guys play bolt action with their Flames of War stuff, you know, and what better way to have a big mass battle? Like, you know, Games Workshop used to do Epic and then 40K, and then they
Right.
had Inquisitor and BFG, you know, so you can do the same thing with the combination we have. We have Blood Red Skies, Cruel Seas, and
Yep.
or Victory at Sea, and bolt action.
Yep.
And then you throw in, like we mentioned earlier, you know, Academy Street Fighting or Libyan Taxi Service. You can do 4 tables at the same time and run them and have them all interact with each other. And we've done that, in fact, at a couple conventions and stores, and it is crazy fun. Up to
Yes.
you. It's your hobby.
Yes. Yeah. That's like when we ran our last tournament, we ran Partners, Axis, and Allies. And it was well received. It worked well. I'm one of those guys that I hate blue on blue. And so it was really, and everybody, and we ended up with some very historical matchups too. Like we had the Japanese and British fighting in the jungles, you know?
Nice.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. And I think the British player was running Gurkhas, surprise. But yeah, so, you know, again, it is what you said earlier, John. Come for the games, try them out, stay for the community. And then those of us that are organizers, we get with guys like John and Billy and other folks that are, you know, up chain in the hobby, and we find different ways that we can introduce people to the hobby.
Sure.
You know, not everybody's gonna be able to necessarily afford a full army, but hey, they can buy a box, or they can even buy a sprue, and that's where your Academy of Street Fighting comes in.
Well, and back back in the day, if you were going to play a game, you know, and I hate to use that phrase back in the day, but you had to buy both sides and paint up both sides to get anybody to play your game. And now with all these communities and these stores like yourself and all, you know, popping up in the conventions, they're coming up like dandelions all over the place. I mean, there's not a weekend. See if I can get this up on your screen and show you. There's not a weekend. I try to keep track as much as I can, but there's not a weekend that there's not an event. Okay, there's something happening somewhere, somehow. If you just got to go out there and look, and they're incredible. Sean Bagley out there in Salt Lake City had an event called SLO last week, Salt Lake Open. 1,000 people, second year, 30,000 square feet. 1,000 people walked through that door and they had a ball. So again, it's just look around. You can get away with now just getting one army and finding it and going to a place like you have, you know, and just get started, find some friends, and just knock it out.
Yeah. And of course, I always recommend buying 2 armies because then you can recruit somebody.
Yes,
you know. But
exactly.
Again, if you want to buy 2 boxes and then get started that way, that works. Or split a box with a friend. You know, sometimes people do that. But yeah, and this is the beauty of it.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of
out here.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish. I'm sorry.
I was going to say there's a lot of us out here. I know here in Savannah, we have an event at least every week. We've got something going on. It's either bolt action, or it's Flames of War, or it's and to be honest, if it's one of the Savannah HMGS events, just come on. We're going to be there. We're going to have spare tables.
Sure.
Bring your bolt action. Bring your Black Seas. You know, if you got Judge Dredd, we'd love to take a look at that too.
There you go.
We've even had BattleTech show up at one of our events. So there you go.
That's the beauty of Blood Red Skies now. You know, we had Battle of Britain, and we started off with that. Then we did Battle of Midway. People were like, well, I don't want to do the Pacific. Well, tell you what, buy Airstrike, buy the Operations Battle Deck, which is all the cards from the starter set anyway, and then buy any 2 opposing squadrons from any theater that you wish, and Halakazam, you now have your own starter box. So you can tailor make your starter box, and it's only Blood Red Skies is so easy to get into. 6-on-6 squadron, you're done. It's fast and furious. I've done at a convention. I had 11 people come up. They did 22 airplanes from beginning, learning how to play to end. It was an hour and 45 minutes. 22 airplanes in the air, hour and 45 minutes. It's quick and fast. It's so much fun. All our games are designed to be quick, fast, and fun. They're a simulation. They're historical, but not rivet counting. Yeah, I know I know that a Sturmgewehr or an MP40 or a bolt action rifle, a Garand, and a KR98 are different weapons. I get it, but they're a bolt action gun. So they're bolt actions, they're SMGs. If you want to play something else, it's out there. But if you want something fast and furious, we've got the game for you.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Fantastic. So we've covered all the bit. Oh, there was one other thing you wanted to touch base on, wasn't there? Something
Um,
about a Kickstarter?
oh yeah, we've got
Yeah.
our new board game coming out. Watch for it. We kind of talked a little bit about it. We had a beta version at Adepticon, and it's called Vanguard, and it is a bolt action centric game. It's got logistics in there. You have to build up your transport and your supply points to get your guys on the board. There's tank miniatures. There's trucks and men and tanks and men and tanks and more men and tanks. We've got a picture of it. You can put it up on your. I send it to you. You can put it up on your website. They had it at Essen this year. It's getting better and better. Look for it kickstarting, not kickstarting, but it might be Kickstarter. It's going to be a crowdfunding event probably next month. We'll talk more about it in our newsletters. If you're not getting our newsletter,
Excellent.
I don't know why. You should go to our website and say yes. It comes out Wednesdays and Fridays.
Right.
Wednesdays is kind of a teaser. Fridays is like, oh, here it is. And Vanguard is a fantastic game. I think I might be able to, if you're going to air this later, I can probably call up a picture of it. Let's see. I know I've got it here somewhere.
Take your time and just click the present button and share your
Yeah.
screen.
That. Yeah, we could do that. Let me see. Let's see. Let me find it. Exit there.
It's
So
in
I
the
go over
middle.
here. Yeah. I just got to find the picture of it first.
Okay.
Make sure I got it on my computer here. So let's see. I know I got it here somewhere. I hope I got it here somewhere. It's got to be. Oh, I know where I can look for it. Jeez, Russell. So many damn windows open.
Oh, I can't. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Hey, let's see. There we go. There it is right there. That's it right there. There's the picture there. There. Now see if I go. Okay, to go here. Go to present. There. Let's see. Share screen. Yeah. Share screen. Select table to share. Vanguard. And there. There you go. Hopefully you can see that now. I
Hang
don't
on
know.
just a minute. There it is.
Yeah, so there you go. That's our new board game. You can see the counters in this lower corner over here. You can right there, and then there's the city that you fight through right there, and there's different pieces you can move around, and there's your track, there's your cards. But this is probably the final beta. Again, it is. Let's see if I can do that.
What's the scale,
There,
John? What does each figure
it's.
represent? Is it a
I think it's a
platoon,
squad.
army, squad?
I think it's a squad. Yeah, it's a single vehicle and a squad. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's a lot like. See, there's a half track. There's some tanks. There's your battle cards. Um, Again, it's not as big as Combined Arms was that we did our other board game. You know, where it was you could play bolt action. Combined Arms was a standalone game, but if you got to the score where you had your battle, you could either do it on the board or you could expand it over to bolt action or
Right.
Blood Red Skies or Cruel Seas or Victory Seas. This game is specifically a army on army. Okay.
Okay.
It's very exciting. A lot of people were liking it, looking at it. We only had half the beta at Adepticon. This is pretty much the finished game that you're seeing there, and it's a lot of fun. It's going to
Yeah.
be.
Are the maps geomorphic?
You can see right there that they can break down right here. You can see how they kind of like slide together. So this can change
Yeah.
a lot like your old squad leader game boards. But yeah, so that's about really all I know. There's cards, pieces,
Okay.
logistics, a lot of fun.
Fantastic. And that'll be crowdfunded at first. So
Yeah,
that'll be
crowdfunded.
good. Kind of be
Yep,
looking for that.
yep.
And the
Probably
faster we
release
get it
around.
funded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
release probably shipping around Adepticon probably. So who knows?
Okay. Very good. Thank you so much. So, again, it's everything we love about Warlord. It's a variety of products. Obviously our cornerstone is World War II.
Hmm.
You can tell that looking at the titles, but Black Powder, Ancients, A lot of your science fiction. You know, I mean, you
Still have
you
gates.
name your poison, and they
Mhm.
can probably fill it. So that's
Yeah.
really excellent.
Yeah, a lot of people
All
thought
right.
we got rid of Gates and Cruel Seas, but they're with our company Skytrek, so we still do that too. So we get
Right.
everything from Egyptians to sci-fi.
There you go. Absolutely, man. I love me some. I that was probably one of the rule books that most impressed me was the Gates of
Oh
Antares
yeah,
quick start rules, where they literally walk you from like 3 figures through 2 squads, and it was
yep,
just amazing. It was
yep,
very cool. So,
fun
all
game.
right. With all that being said, guys, I think we're about to wrap it up here. Any closing words, Mr. John?
Hey, if you guys need anything, you know how to get a hold of me, 406-579-7704. Email me at jon.russell@worldgames.com, or hit up Mike, and he knows how to get a hold of me. I do
Yep.
something every Wednesday at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time on Facebook called Warlord Wednesdays, tips and tricks and stuff like that. Just give me a holler. But again, we're here for you. This is my full-time job, so call me whenever. Well, not whenever, but when decent time.
John's an hour behind us, so we got to keep that in mind. And again, same thing. If you have any questions about Warlord Games, you can reach out to Gator Games and Books at gatorgameswayx.com.
Excellent.
And we're happy to get your questions, get them answered. We can direct order pretty much anything Warlord makes. We can get one way or another. Always happy to get your business and get you what you need. So again, thank you folks for your time. John, we thank you for your time. Just hang
Anytime, right?
around a little bit
Thanks, Mike. You bet.
after the. All right. Bye bye.